The Late Show studio hummed with a warm, lively charge as Stephen Colbert stepped to his desk, his grin bright and earnest, his energy a beacon that lit the room with wit and heart. The audience roaring their welcome with a cheer that shook the walls, a wave of sound that promised a night of sharp truth and real laughs. Across from him sat Elon Musk, the billionaire mogul with a slick, tousled look, his posture slouched but his eyes cold, a glint of arrogance simmering in them. A guest, whose presence loomed with wealth and power, his hands resting smugly on the chair, ready to dominate. The crowd, a mix of Colbert's loyal fans and Musk's tech-obsessed followers, clapped and shouted, their anticipation a tense pulse, their voices rising in a swell, eager for Colbert's keen insight to cut through Musk's bravado. A clash, brewing beneath the surface, one that would ignite into a fiery confrontation and see Musk kicked off. Colbert standing tall for the room. Colbert launched in with his signature grace, his voice clear and steady. "Folks, we've got a big guest tonight, Elon Musk, the guy who's got more money than most countries and a plan to ditch us all for Mars." His words tinged with a knowing smile, a nod to the crowd that drew hearty laughter. The room buzzing with trust in Colbert's knack for calling it straight. A champion for the regular folks watching. Musk smirked, leaning back. "Stephen, I'm saving humanity. One rocket at a time, you're welcome." His tone dripping with condescension. A quip that landed flat, the audience murmuring, some clapping weakly, their unease with his swagger, a quiet thread through the set. A hint of a man too big for the room. Colbert raised an eyebrow. "Saving us, huh? Still flaunting that billionaire glow like it's our privilege to watch, Elon?" His jab gentle but firm. A stand for fairness. The crowd chuckling, the mood tight. A sparring match with a purpose, at least for now. The talk pushed forward, Colbert guiding it to SpaceX. "So, Elon, this Mars idea, you're serious about colonizing it? Or is it just a playground for the ultra-rich to escape us peasants?" His question wrapped in a grin, a wink to the camera, the audience laughing, their applause a steady hum, a warm nod to Colbert's fight for the little guy. Musk shrugged. "It's serious, Stephen. Earth's a mess. I'm building the future. Mars is where it's at." His reply smug, a touch of disdain breaking through, the crowd shifting. Some clapping faintly, others frowning, their discomfort with his aloofness growing, a sign of a man who'd lost touch with the ground. Colbert leaned forward. "The future, huh? What about us stuck here, footing the bill for your cosmic joyride? Ever think of that?" His tone still light but piercing, a spark in his eyes, a question dangling like a challenge, begging the thought, was this just humor? Or a stand for something bigger? The air stiffened, Musk's smirk fading, his fingers tapping the armrest. "Oh, Stephen, you're whining about bills now, huh? Stick to comedy. Leave the vision to me." His voice cool, edged with scorn. A barb that stung, the audience gasping, some booing softly, others leaning in, sensing the turn. The tension coiling quick and fierce, a spring ready to snap. Colbert's smile tightened. "Comedy, sure, Elon, but I'm not the one dodging reality with a private planet." His retort swift, grounded, a hint of steel slipping in, the crowd cheering, some clapping hard, their faith in him surging, the room tilting toward something raw, something just. Could Colbert keep the moral high ground? Or had Musk just lit a fuse that would burn them both? The crowd's cheers for Stephen Colbert swelled into a steady roar, their faith in his sharp, grounded wit a lifeline in the Late Show studio. The air growing taut as Elon Musk's dismissive barb hung there, his smirk replaced by a thin, smug line, his fingers now drumming the armrest with a restless edge, his cold eyes flicking over the audience like they were beneath him. A mogul ready to bulldoze anything in his path. Colbert sat steady, his grin fading into a firm resolve, his voice cutting through the hum. "Dodging reality, Elon. That's rich coming from a guy who thinks Mars fixes everything while we're still here picking up the pieces. His words, crisp, a jab that landed with purpose. The audience clapping hard, some whooping, their support a wall behind him. The room a battleground where Musk's arrogance was starting to show cracks, a tension simmering hotter with every breath. Musk leaned forward, his tone icy. "Oh, Stephen, you're so noble, huh? Crying for the little people while I'm out there solving problems. Maybe stick to your jokes." His retort dripping with disdain, a shove that dismissed the room. The crowd booing louder now, some shouting, their unease turning to anger. A wave crashing against his swagger. The clash bursting into something fierce, something undeniable. Colbert's eyes flashed. "Jokes, sure, but at least I'm not pretending my bank account makes me a savior. You're solving problems for who, Elon? Yourself?" His reply, a thunderbolt, fierce but fair, a stand for the audience. Their cheers, erupting, some standing. The studio shaking with their backing. A host calling out a titan. A fight that felt righteous, raw. A wound Musk couldn't shrug off. A blaze he'd stoked too far. The confrontation roared on, Musk's hands slashing the air. "You don't get it, Stephen. I'm building the future. You're stuck in the past, whining about fairness. It's pathetic." His voice rising. A snarl of entitlement. His patience. Snapping, the crowd jeering, their boos a storm, some yelling, their loyalty to Colbert solidifying. The air heavy with a fury that pressed down. A tempest breaking wide open. Colbert stayed calm, his voice steady. "The future, huh? Sounds like a fancy excuse to leave us behind. I'm not whining, I'm watching out for them. Something you forgot." His words a shield, a nod to the seats, the audience roaring, their applause a tidal wave, a host holding the line. Musk's scorn fueling their fire. A clash that burned bright. A battle where one man stood for the room, the other for himself. A divide too wide to bridge. The breaking point slammed in, Musk surging to his feet, his chair scraping back with a harsh grind, his voice booming. "I don't need this, Stephen. You're a clown. I'm done with your sanctimonious garbage." His hands ripping off the mic, the cord flailing as he glared, his face twisted with rage, his billionaire sheen cracking. "Keep your little show. I've got better things to do." His footsteps stomping as he stormed off stage, the crowd's boos thundering, some cheering. Colbert, a swell of noise that shook the set. Musk's exit a blaze of arrogance undone, a jolt that left the room reeling. Colbert sat back, his hands raised. "Elon, take care. Mars won't miss you." His voice cool, a parting shot that landed soft but sure. A host unshaken. The audience erupting, a wave of support crashing over him. A confrontation that had flared and burned out, leaving Musk exposed. Colbert poised to reclaim the night. A stand for the people still echoing in the air. The Late Show studio thundered with the crowd's boos and cheers as Elon Musk's stomping footsteps faded off stage. The air crackling with a raw electric charge. The lights sharp against the set. The audience a surging tide of anger and triumph. Their noise a jagged roar that pulsed through the seats. A wave of voices lifted in defiance against Musk's arrogance. Their faith locked on Stephen Colbert, who sat steady at his desk, his hands resting calm, his face a blend of resolve and quiet strength. His breath even as he faced the empty chair, the dangling mic. A trophy of a clash won, a host who'd stood for them against a billionaire's scorn. A night tipped upside down, now his to turn into a victory for the room. A triumph rooted in heart and grit. Backstage, the chaos erupted, crew members darting through the wings, their headsets buzzing with frantic chatter,